what I'm about to share with you is exactly what you need to hear. And it's a graphic I created that kind of dovetails on this 3 halves of life. So let's kind of take a look at what's going to happen as we move through these 3 halves. So what happens in the first half of life? This is generally people under the age of 55 who are saving for retirement. Well, when you think about it, the first half is always about where to invest. And there's nothing wrong with that. Let's take a 401k plan, for instance. In the 401k, let's look at some of the options you might have in a 401k. You can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, even CDs. You can't really get annuities in a 401k or real estate or gold or silver, but you could possibly go out and just buy those. A lot of people are just looking at different products. So what happens is in the first half, all of the discussion is always about where should I invest my money? And that's really about it. There's very little planning going on in terms of retirement planning. And many of the reasons for that is because people are younger. They're not really thinking about retirement. They're just trying to stockpile and sock away money somewhere. And that is what we call the where. But something interesting happens. It's kind of a transition that takes place. And I call this halftime. And it's usually at that 55 to age 60. You know, the where is still important, but all of a sudden the where begins to change a little bit. We'll use an example of somebody who's been 100% in the stock market all of their life, and they're approaching what I call halftime. In other words, that period of time where they're thinking, you know what, I may not be working that much longer, and I've got to understand where to invest the money on a more safe basis. You know, it'd be one thing to get in this transition here, and you got 100% of the money in the market, like it did in '09, and the darn thing crash. You're either going to have to put off your plans on retirement, or if you're already retired, you're probably going to have to go back to work. So there's a transition that takes place. Not only does the where change, and you need to get with somebody that understands retirement planning, but the most important question you got to ask yourself is over here. And that's as you move into that second half of life, and that is, who are you going to trust with this money? I mean, think about this just a second. When you put money with a 401k plan, you might trust the institution handling it, but they're really not giving you any advice. They're not giving you advice on how to deal with the tax tumor, fees, how much you can spend, when to take Social Security, what's going to happen to this money when you die. That's the job of a retirement planning specialist. So this is a huge decision, and this decision usually needs to be made in that transition of halftime, because when you get into the second half of life, here's what you're going to want to demand from the person or institution that you're going to trust. First of all, hopefully they're fiduciaries like Tony Walker. We are fiduciaries required by law to work in your best interest. So I got to ask you a question. If given a choice between working with an advisor that's going to handle your life savings, who is a fiduciary, versus one who is not, surely you would want to work with someone required by law to work in your best interest. The second thing you're going to want to do, hopefully, is somebody who is experienced in retirement planning. Folks, since focusing on retirement planning shortly after 9/11, I've personally overseen more than 5,000 written game plans. We have over 3,000 clients, and we understand the experience. And these game plans really help us, because what happens when we're working on this number of game plans, we see so many different things go on in people's lives that then we can tailor to your personal situation based on our experience. Next is staff. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to make sure that if I call some number, that I have the people on hand immediately to help you, and our staff at Tony Walker Financial is ready to serve. Obviously, we have a 5-step process that we follow. This game plan allows us to stay focused on you, and you know you've got a process to monitor into the future. The philosophy, we call that the Live Well, Die Broke philosophy. Folks, you got to spend this money and enjoy it before it's too late, but you also have to know how to do that without the fear of running out of money. We can show you how to do that. And finally, we are full service. We are a full service firm dedicated to your retirement planning needs.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips. And be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.